So, the response a particular person has to stress or whatever it is that is going to stress them out, or the response that the body has to anything that is trying to kick it out of homeostasis, not only has to do with the particular threat that is coming your way, but unique, specific characteristics that have to do with that particular individual. What do I mean by this? Everybody has a filter, and a filter, this is your experiences, your upbringing, your family history, your whatever it is that is happening in your environment, whatever thing that makes you you is your filter. And why is this filter important? Your filter is going to be what it is that you use when you create what we call your perception. The body responds emotionally to whatever it is that it perceives is happening in its environment. This is because when you've been growing up, when you've been growing and dealing and doing whatever it is that you've been doing in your life, you've been training your mind to remember certain things. This is why when you see a snake, you don't even negotiate. You just know to flee because some way, one day in your past, you taught yourself that snake is dangerous. You taught yourself that a robber is dangerous. You taught yourself that particular people like these ones, particular individual like these ones, some people have a thing against Christians. Some people do not like people of the African traditional religion. Some people do not like black people. Some people do not like white people. Some people hate grapefruit. Some people love this thing. Whatever it is, when you want to make a decision about your career, when you want to make a decision about your boyfriend, when you want to make a decision about whatever it is, you use what we call a filter. This is how you remember to make a decision on whatever it is that concerns you, whatever it is that has to do with you. So a threat is coming your way in your environment. It is going to be up to you and that filter muscle that you've been training since you were born, and you're going to make a decision on that particular moment. So your boyfriend says, hey, stupid, he's joking. But because to you, stupid means other negative things, you are going to be angry and you're going to mount a response based on your perception. So here's the thing. What can color my filter? For instance, do you have any traumatic experiences in your past? Let's say when you were 2 years old, your parents started abusing you. They abandoned you, they rejected you, they molested you, they didn't feed you, whatever it is that had to do with you, they did not pay attention to you. So when you are a child, you are already helpless. Imagine mounting abuse on top of that. So your perception is going to be, I am useless. I am no one. I am pathetic. It is probably my fault that I'm being treated this way because a child does not have logic. You have no possible explanation to understand why people who are supposed to love you are treating you this way. So now you're 24. Now you're 26, now you're 32, and you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. Small things, big things, when they come your way, you are already triggered. You are already in this zone of being triggered. You're probably going to overreact more than another person who never went through what you went through. So your experiences will color how you respond to whatever it is that is coming your way. Do you have any mental issues? Do you have any addiction issues? Those things also color your perception. You already struggle with addiction to alcohol. You already struggle with addiction to drugs. You are a person who eats comfort food. You're a person who's addicted to sex. Whatever problem you have, instead of dealing with it, you run to something else. Substances, sex, drugs, food. So you are going to be a person who you are probably always going to be chronically stressed out. And remember, like I said, the body requires energy to perform whatever it is that it is doing. So instead of the body focusing on things like your immune system, focusing on your digestion, your metabolism, now energy is going to always be constantly consumed by stress because stressing is an energy requiring action for the body. All right. So what else can color your factor? You have things like in the past months, probably you do not have any traumatic experiences in your childhood. Probably you do not have any mental issues or drugs and substance abuse. But in that particular year and in that particular time, things just started happening. In January, you broke your leg. You're like, no, it's all right. It's a leg. In March, your car gets stolen. You're like, okay, no, it's a car. At least, at least I wasn't in the car. I'm grateful to God for that. And then in July, your son commits suicide. And then in December, your husband divorces you. So all these things, we take them into factor because maybe your best friend is also going through a divorce, but she's not responding and reacting the way you're doing because probably maybe she hasn't been dealing with a lot of things like you have been. So all these things, like I'm saying, will color your perception, will color how you approach life. Are you the type of person who always thinks that everything is negative? Whatever it is, whatever is happening your way, you never see anything. If a good thing happens, you're like, it's only a matter of time before something terrible happens. If a bad thing happens, you say, I knew it. I told you. I am useless. I am pathetic. Nothing good ever comes out of me. Nothing good ever happens to me. And if nothing happens, you're like, So you're always this person who always sees everything dark. And then you have another person, they always see everything as beautiful. Sometimes you can't even understand people who are positive. You're like, but this happened to you. You're like, yeah, I know. But they're like, we know. But then I'm grateful for, at least I have this. At least I'm still alive. They always see things to be good. And those particular people, most cases, they're never going to be chronically stressed because their perception, their filter always filters out positive things no matter what it is that is happening. So I'll pose this question to you today. What is coloring your filter? What is it about you that causes you to make decisions? This is good, this is bad, this is a threat, this is not a threat. You also have people who procrastinate. They have problems that they're supposed to deal with. But instead of focusing on that particular problem and dealing with it while it's still in its baby phase, while we can still deal with it, they will ignore them and postpone and postpone. But then we all know what happens. The more you ignore something, the more you pretend that something is not happening, trust me, it will just grow bigger, it will grow bigger, and then before you know it, it will burst and it will explode. I was actually talking to my sister-in-law the other day, and she was saying, have you ever seen people who just explode? If you want to investigate deeper, you will find that the explosion, like in my divorce analogy, people will assume that you are bursting or you are crumbling because of the divorce, but because there had been some things that have been happening in the preceding months before this thing that has finally taken you out, big things have been happening. And in some instances, you'll find that people will explode or people will crumble over a tiny thing. But if we dig deeper, we will find that it is not tiny. This person has been battling a lot of things, your way out of it. Another thing that you also have to know is that the human mind records negative things 5 times more than a positive thing. This is why if 2 billion people compliment you and they do not know you, and then one person on top of the 2 billion people comes up and says you do not look good, you will focus on that negative thing alone instead of the 2 billion positive things. This is just what happens to us. We record more negative things in our lives. More negative things color who we are, color our perception, color the way we deduct and make decisions instead of focusing on positive things. And this could be the reason why you are struggling today. This could be the reason why you find it very, very difficult to get out of situations that seem so easy for other people to get out of. Check your perception. Check what finally. Your availability of social support. Do you have friends? Do you have family? Are you the type of person who perceives that you're alone in this world, even if you're surrounded by people who love you? Or indeed you are alone. This is why therapists, psychologists are on high demand because a lot of people don't have a lot of people do not have friends to call. Do you know it is just so important and it's just so nice to have somebody just come up to you and say, hey Ruth, I just called you because I'm thinking of you. When I'm broken, I know that someone has my back. When I'm sick, I know that someone is going to be by my side, cheering me on and helping me out. I have one of my cousins, he tore his Achilles tendon. I hope I have that right. And, we were like, so how are you going to the bathroom? But he's not worried because he knows he's surrounded by family. He knows that he has people who have his back day in and day out, But then what about you? Do you have friends? Do you have people? So all these things, perception, your experiences, your past, your history, All of these things, they color your filter. And at the end of the day, they will determine if that threat that has come your way, is it going to just be temporary, or it is going to be a lifelong situation whereby you're going to struggle chronically. And we all know, like I've been saying, your body will always be activated. Cortisol will be pumping in your body. Adrenaline will be pumping in your body, and day in and day out, which will end up resulting in you having healthy complications. I will end this video by saying, you know, this COVID coronavirus, people have been saying, no, if you have underlying problems, it will take you out. This is because the immune system will already been compromised before the coronavirus will attack you. And this is the same thing where stress is concerned. What was my goal today? My goal today was just for me to show you that your answers could already be inside of you, all right? You might be looking elsewhere and everywhere, but sometimes when we take a mirror and we look at that man in the mirror, we can begin to actually see and check and understand why we keep falling in the same cycles over and over again. What are the things that you tell yourself on a day-to-day basis? What is your family history? What are the type of friends that you hang out with? What are the things that you watch on a daily basis? What are the things that you listen to and read? What is it about you that makes you you? What is unique to you? When problems come your way, are they opportunities? Are they chances for you to grow? Or you see them as direct attacks on you? We have a lot of Christians that always think it's a demon that is coming after them. Satan is coming after me. Satan, trust me, I know those things are real, but sometimes it is easy for Satan to just come after you because you make it so easy for him to do so. It's like every single time Satan wants to launch a new demon, he has to try it out on you, right? So I just want you to know, check your perception, check your filter, check what it is that feeds you. You might just find an answer there. I really, really hope that in life, you are going to go about it undefeated. You're going to go about it like a champ. You're going to begin to look at yourself and value yourself and realize the amazing potential that you have. You are stronger than you think. You are more capable of handling situations and things than you think. Because listen to me, on this earth, past, present, and future, there shall never be another person who looks like you. There shall never be another person who is you. Even if you have a daughter, even if you have a twin, that person is different from you. So trust me, you have unique power inside of you to deal with whatever it is that is coming your way. But first of all, let's begin by checking our perception. Let's begin by looking at the things that we feed ourselves before we can go on in life. I hope I could just spend the whole day talking to you, but I just wanted to begin this internal conversation with you with my short video. Listen to it, think about it, check yourself, and guess what? I'll see you all next time.